there. Hello, everyone. I'm SteveStruebig, and this is my presentation for you on my strange love for how I learned to stop worrying and love science. A little bit about myself on the second slide. Again, my name's SteveStruebig. I usually just go by Steve for those who know me. I'm currently a product manager with the Weatherhawk division of Campbell Scientific. I'm 34 years old, and I currently reside in Logan, Utah, which is located in northern Utah, about 30 miles south of the Idaho border. So, where my love for science started. It actually started when I was in high school. When I was in high school, I found as I got further into it, I actually liked math, but I didn't really care for science all that much. I was a fairly good student in that I got A's and B's in high school, but I didn't really have to apply myself to get A's and B's. The reason I like math so much is probably because my math teacher challenged me to do good work, while I found the science quite boring. I couldn't relate to it. Didn't really have enough life experience at the time to really take it seriously. I still had a curiosity about, how and why things worked, but the level of science I was taking in high school really didn't satisfy that curiosity. I did take some physical science classes and a chemistry class in high school. Found that I was drawn more to the physics than chemistry, but physics still did not, it was not presented to me in a way that really piqued my interest. So again, didn't really care for the science. Focused more on the math than the science when I was in high school. Also, during my high school career, I knew that my ultimate goal was to go to college, but I didn't know what I wanted to do when I went to college. So why did I want to go to college? Well, because I went to high school in the early to mid 90s, and that's what you did when you graduated high school. You went to college. And didn't know what field I wanted to study in college, and knew at the time also that my study habits in high school, which were non-existent, would probably not carry me too far in college, even at an undergraduate level. So didn't know what I wanted to do. Knew college was the ultimate goal, but didn't really know how to get there or how to make that happen. So to eliminate that unknown in my equation, I joined the military when I was still in high school. I did, obviously I graduated high school, but I joined the Army on the delayed enlistment program, which basically meant I joined the Army my senior year in high school, and then after I graduated, that's when I actually started my military career. I figured that would at least give me some direction in life, more so than I had when I was 17, 18 years old. And boy, was I right. The Army did many things for me. I entered the Army as a vehicle mechanic because when I was a teenager, I had an interest in cars, so I thought mechanic was the best path for me. The interest in cars was where it started, but really when I got into the Army and started doing some of the mechanics, I found it interesting how mechanical, electronics, all these things coupled together to make things work. And it was fun and educational at the same time. The Army, it's not just a job, it's an adventure. Or maybe that's the Navy slogan, whatever. But it gave me a lot of good background in the mechanics and electronics of things and how they work. More so than anything else, it also gave me some life experience, which I was seriously lacking in high school. I moved around over the course of 6 years, everywhere from living in South Korea to Washington State to North Carolina. Living in different parts of the country like that allowed me to experience the uniqueness of each region to the country, especially after growing up and spending my first 18 years of life in the Midwest. So I really started to take an interest in particularly weather. Knew that it rained all the time in Seattle, but didn't really know why. Knew that it was kind of hot and muggy during the summers in North Carolina, but also did not do any kind of research or put two and together as why. So that's when it really started for me. High school background of mathematics, coupled with my experience, really had me thinking that I should pursue some type of science degree. So moving on to the next slide. College is when it actually became fun. I started college immediately after getting off active duty with the Army. And by this time, I was now fearful of math because I hadn't done any kind of high-end math other than 2 plus 2 in the past 6 years. So fearful of math, but now kind of started taking interest in science stuff. And my interest in science was based solely on my background and experience in the Army. Again, knew it rained all the time in Seattle, but didn't know why. So when I started college, I was kind of thinking of science, but still not sure what I wanted to do in college. I started college undeclared. Knew that I wanted to get a degree, but still not quite sure what path I wanted to take. Then my first semester, I actually took an intro to weather and climate class, which pretty much opened my eyes to not only satisfying my curiosity, but understanding that because of my past experience, it came fairly natural to me to understand why the weather worked the way it did in certain parts of the United States. So that's when it really started to become fun. But at the same time, I was still a little fearful of the math, and the more I looked into the meteorology program and learned that it pretty much accompanied mathematics hand in hand, still a little frightened. But the more math, especially advanced math that I took in college, the more fun the math became, which is also could be an oxymoron. Found that I liked the way that you could couple math with meteorology to determine certain things and understand how they work together. So I ended up graduating in 4 years with BS in meteorology and a minor in mathematics. College career was fun, probably a little bit too much fun. Still able to maintain a good grade level, but probably wasn't doing as much work as I should have my senior year in finding a job. So I hit a couple speed bumps near and after graduation. So moving on to the next slide. So the speed bumps that I hit, at the end of my college life and getting into the real world job market, I found that I liked meteorology and math, but I definitely did not want to be a forecaster just based on my meteorology degree. Ever since probably up until the time I was a junior in college, the assumed career path for most people thought that, if you get a meteorology degree, you're going to be a forecaster. And throughout college, what forecasting I did, I found that I did not like it because I was bad at it, and I was bad at it because I did not like it, so I didn't put any effort into it whatsoever. I also thought it was quite boring to look at weather maps for 3 hours just to try to figure out what it's going to do tomorrow and still probably be wrong. Didn't want to be a forecaster, wasn't looking for that type of position. I also at the time did not want to pursue a graduate degree, even though I was told that I had good enough grades and a background to be successful in a program in atmospheric science at the graduate level. I didn't want to do it. I was getting kind of burned out on college after 4 years, was really wanting to get into the job market, gain some experience, that type of thing. So upon graduation, I did not have any kind of employment lined up whatsoever, and it became frustrating. The more I looked around, uh, it seemed to be at the time that most positions in the meteorology field were either looking for strictly forecasters or somebody who had quite a bit more computer knowledge and experience than I did, or were looking for some type of graduate degree, whether it be a master's or a PhD. So again, became very frustrated, didn't know what I wanted to do, kind of bummed around for the summer after graduation trying to figure things out. still knew that I wanted to pursue the science and math, you know, jobs, but probably if it would have taken much longer to find a job, I would have given up. But then lightning struck, and I was offered a position about 3 months after graduating college as a meteorological electronics technician with the Kentucky Mesonet. This was a program that was just getting started at the time. They had just received funding to build a mesonet across the state of Kentucky. Mesonet is basically a state-sized network of weather stations put in place to not only monitor what's happening at the present, but also to build a historical climate data record so that future studies can be done on what was happening, why it happened, is the temperature really rising, is the temperature going down, all that kind of good science stuff. So the bonuses with this position were that it coupled my degree in meteorology with my background and interests in mechanics and electronics. The position was basically designed to be a person working with meteorological instrumentation, performing a lot of field work, basically setting up the initial phase of the actual monitoring portion of the Kentucky Mesonet. It was a great position. Allowed me to apply, all my previous knowledge, along with learning new things each and every day. Remember, the unique thing about this job is I just graduated college with a bachelor's degree in meteorology, and my second day on the job, my supervisor came to me and said, "Here's the instrumentation we want to use. Now figure out how to use it, how to put it up, and how to make it work." So had to delve deep into the realms of research to figure out exactly how we were supposed to do things to make sure everything worked correctly. Again, a lot of fun. At the time, thought it was the greatest job in the world. It allowed me to do everything I wanted to do and more. I was working for a university on this project, and the potential was there at that time, if I so desired, to pursue a master's degree in a geoscience discipline. But I really still did not want to pursue a master's degree simply because I felt that I did not have enough of a strong background, and although instrumentation was my focus, I didn't feel that I could put together a serious research project that would change anything other than putting an MS behind my name instead of a BS. So in hindsight, it was probably not one of my better decisions, but I stand by it either way because I still feel that too many people get a master's degree after a bachelor's degree simply because that's what they think will make them more marketable. And I didn't want to be one of those people. But while I was at the university, I did take some intro classes into the electrical engineering field. This was actually a good decision because it allowed me to further my knowledge and experience in electronics while also bringing back some of the math that I had long since forgotten from my undergraduate degree. But towards the end of my time there in Kentucky, I was getting to the point where it didn't seem like there was anything more I could do. There was really no forward progress being made as far as a career. I gained a lot of experience, but within that position, there was really nothing else I was going to do except do field work and instrumentation for the rest of my life, and I was kind of getting burned out on the field work, so I started looking around, and lightning struck again. I was offered a position with a company specializing in meteorological instrumentation, which is my current position, again with the Weatherhawk division of Campbell Scientific. Campbell Scientific is one of the premier companies in as far as monitoring and meteorology. Their pretty much number one product is their data loggers coupled with instrumentation from nearly any manufacturer. So this current position, it allows me to apply my experience and my education while I still work with instrumentation. I have moved somewhat, not completely, but it's now being used in more of a business atmosphere. So it also provides me new education and experience in the business field. I still work with instrumentation every day, still drawing all my experience and education, but it allows me to continue my growth within the science field. So why it's still fun for me? Honestly, I love my job. I couldn't ask for a better job. I'm actually excited to get up every morning and go to work. You never know what's going to happen. I'm able to use everything I've done in the past to help other people solve problems, whether it be what they want to measure and how they want to measure it, or they have the measurement and they're having a problem with it. It's a whole lot of fun. It's a way to really help others while at the same time, you know, keeping myself entertained, if you will. And I also brag to all my friends that I'm living proof that not all meteorologists are forecasters. Uh, Moving on. So why did I choose science, and why do I still love science? Because science enables me to satisfy my curiosity on why things work. Again, going back to one of the first examples I threw out there, why everybody knows it rains in Seattle all the time, but why does it rain in Seattle all the time, and why does it not rain in southern Arizona all the time? Science allows me to answer these questions for myself, and at the same time, it allows me to explain to others how that works. And to me, that's fun. I've always said that I wanted a job that, I don't need to make $1 million a year. I just need to have a job that I enjoy and is fun for me, and that's what I have, so I can't complain about anything. The other nice thing about science is it's a wide topic. There's everything from the physical sciences to the biological sciences, and you can basically split off from those in about 1,000 different directions depending on what you're interested in. And again, in the type of science that I work with, I'm able to draw on some of my math background, which I still enjoy doing every once in a while. So that's basically how I came to be where I am. Is there any questions or comments?
A few comments coming in, Steve.
Okay. I was getting ready to say Bueller, Bueller. One here that says, especially interested in your response to a master's degree. Yeah, I still don't have a master's degree. I don't have any immediate intention on obtaining one. I have a lot of areas that I'm interested in that I think would be interesting to look at, but I can do that on my own. I don't need to do it for anybody else unless I get to a point where it's absolutely necessary that I have a master's degree. I don't think at my current level I really need one.
Just typing one more thing.
Well, if that's it, then I thank everyone for listening to me.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry.
I said thank you for doing this.
My pleasure. As I told you before, I don't mind talking about myself.
Okay, well, we appreciate you coming, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you.